Hello everyone, and welcome to Autocrat. This is episode 40, Hercules, part 11, Hippolyta's belt. Now, you must already be wondering, why are we talking about a belt? That's what I'm wondering too. Oh, I was anyway before we researched that episode. So now we're gonna tell you.
Yeah, it turns out it's not just a high-end fashion brand.
Is it not?
No, he's not just shopping for belts.
Okay.
Well, kind of. We'll get to it.
Well, he's not shopping for a belt, as far as we know. The ninth task was getting the belt of Hippolyta because Admete wanted it.
Right.
Which is always a good reason to go steal something of someone, I guess.
Yeah. Who's Admete?
Admete is the daughter of Eurystheus.
Right.
You know? The jar guy.
Yes. Maybe she has her own jar.
Maybe.
He built one for her.
Do you think he built one for every single one of his kids?
Maybe. That would be hilarious.
It would be. Now, Admete is a stereotypical spoiled princess, always looking for her next shiny bauble.
Okay, that won't help, because there will be some daddy's girl energy going on as well, I assume.
I bet. She happened to hear someone travelling through the area talked about this belt and instantly wanted it. So basically she doesn't even know what it is, she's like, oh, that looks cool, I want it.
I can't help but wonder if this someone travelling through the area is Hera wanting to make Heracles' life more difficult.
That'd be funny.
There's a 2016 paper which would probably say Eurystheus is on his way to creating a spoilt child here if he hasn't already.
It definitely has. It's a little princess, it's a little girl, so it's a daddy's girl.
Yeah.
Anyway, Hippolyta was the Amazon queen.
Ah. Queen of the famous warrior women, the Amazons. I'm starting to see why this is more difficult than just go find someone's belt.
Let me tell you what Apollodorus says about the Amazons.
Okay.
They live at the Thermodon River and are skilled in war. The Thermodon River was located in the Black Sea. I mean, that's based on Vince's knowledge of Greek names.
Yeah, I think it came up as the Euxine Sea or something like that. I can't remember, but it was a Greek version or Hellenic version of the Black Sea's name.
Which Heracles named himself and which was called the Pontus before.
Okay. Again, we see the Greek fascination with naming things. I'm surprised it isn't called the Sea of Heracles, though, given how that usually goes.
And that's what Apollodorus tells us about the Amazons.
Okay.
Now, Herodotus says that the Scythians called the Amazons the killers of men.
Okay, Heracles is in for a fun time here.
Yeah, be careful. I could be an Amazon woman.
You could be.
Anyway. And they don't know anything about sailing, apparently.
Seems a very random tidbit to throw in there.
Only raises the girls.
Okay, right. I mean, we have seen before that children have been left out to die by Greek parents. I think that happened a lot in Sparta, so don't ask about what happens to the boys.
Also, and trigger warning, there is they would remove the right breast so that it wouldn't get in the way of spear throwing.
Yikes.
Ouch. Bodily modification, right?
Yeah. However, apparently they kept the left one as, well, breastfeeding children to actually raise them was still needed.
The sexism. Hippolyta had this belt from Ares in order to show that she was better than the others.
That's quite a flex.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
I think Ares might be her dad, at least in some traditions, so this is just another daddy's girl. Just one who's already got power rather than one who's waiting to get it, in the case of Admete.
So before setting off on this journey, Heracles actually was with Jason on the Argo in the episode we've just covered, so go have a listen to that if you haven't.
Yeah, you can listen back to Heracles' FOMO probably being triggered.
Yeah. He travelled to the land of the Amazons.
Good start. Now, I think there's some extra detail that we're not going to go into, right, on the way there, because these are just very small stories, like with Jason.
Exactly.
Yeah. Greek mythology is full of them.
He eventually ends up at or near the port of Themyscira, which is where Hippolyta's palace was.
Yep.
Hippolyta showed up and asked why he wanted her belt, eventually agreeing to give it to him. He must be really convincing.
Yeah.
He must have created a story of, well, you know, that belt, it was my grandmother's cousin's brother's friend, and, like, he really wants to see it again.
I'm glad you don't mean the belt was the friend.
No, the belt belonged to the whatever I just said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got that. It was just a brief, funny image. This belt was my friend, please.
Or maybe...
It's my only friend.
Or maybe the belt belonged to Felix. What do you reckon, Felix?
Oh yeah, we should say he's just sleeping off screen. Off screen? Off microphone? Off microphone.
Off microphone.
Anyway, detour over.
What was I? Tell us about an alternative story. I think Guerber has an alternative story.
Yes, they recount that Hippolyta said she would think about it when she was asked, and said that they should stay in the palace and be entertained, presumably until she handed down her verdict. Either way, at this point, Hera suddenly remembered Heracles existed and showed up in disguise as an Amazon, presumably thinking all of this was just too easy. She spread the idea that the newcomers were trying to steal the queen away and the belt story was just a ruse. The Amazon warriors, predictably, leapt on their horses and bore down on the ship the newcomers were on. When Heracles saw the Amazons carrying weapons, he realised something was up. I wonder at what point it hit him, maybe at the same time an arrow did. He killed Hippolyta and stole her belt, battling the rest away and then winding up at Troy. Now, Diodorus has a different version of events where Heracles asked for the belt, but it did no good and he fought the Amazons. He killed the cream of the Amazon warriors and, according to Diodorus, gave Antiope to Theseus as a present.
Okay.
This is a human being.
Okay.
Adding to the list of things we can call Theseus a terrible person for.
Exactly.
This story makes Melanippe the one who has the belt, and Heracles gets it in exchange for setting her free. As you can tell, there's a lot of versions, but the short summary is a lot of violence and he gets an Amazon warrior's belt.
Well, anyway. Let's back to the main story, and we're on our way to Troy, or we're in Troy.
Yes.
The city was currently in trouble with Poseidon and Apollo because they had not been paid for a job they had done while disguised in order to test the king's city, Laomedon.
Okay, it's impressive to be in trouble with two gods simultaneously.
It wouldn't do you good.
Yeah, I was going to say, I say impressive, Autocrat does not recommend getting in trouble with multiple Greek deities.
Apollo brought down the plague and Poseidon unleashed a sea monster. Is it the Loch Ness monster?
I mean, maybe. Maybe it got reassigned.
Soothsayer says that if Laomedon left his daughter Ione as an offering, the problem would go away.
Right. We've definitely seen this before.
She was put in chains by the sea and left there.
Okay, again, statement from Autocrat, chaining women up and offering them to sea monsters will not solve your day-to-day administrative problems. Please stop doing it.
Now, Heracles shows up and promises Laomedon that he will rescue Ione provided he gets the horses Zeus left in return for abducting Ganymede a while back.
Okay.
Laomedon did not pay him after Ione was rescued, and after threatening a fight, Heracles sailed off.
Right.
There's more shenanigans with one cover, but eventually Eurystheus receives the belt. Presumably, Admete was happy for 5 minutes until she caught onto the next shiny thing.
Yeah, presumably.
Now, Euripides has a weird passage. What's that weird passage?
Well, I think it means that Heracles breaks open the Bosporus, which is, if my geography memory serves me rightly, the area connecting the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, broadly speaking. Basically, it talks about him cleaving the Euxine, which from my days of studying Greek-speaking geography, when researching the Byzantines, I know means the Black Sea. And from memory, I think the Black Sea connecting to the Mediterranean created a massive flood. So maybe Heracles drowned hundreds of villages across the Mediterranean.
Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, if I find a reference to that, I'll leave it in the show notes, but, well, lots of human suffering and casualty, but hey, at least there's a belt which a princess now has, so that's good.
That's good, I guess.
It all worked out.
This is now the end of this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. When it releases, we'll be somewhere in Europe having fun.
Yeah.
So, on holiday. So, see you next week.
Yeah, have a great week, everyone.
Have a great week. So what did you think of it?
I liked it. I liked the angle of the spoiled princess being in there. Oh, and friendly reminder that you can send us questions for our end of chapter recap in episode 49.
Yeah, do send us plenty questions.